Harry, yeah, Harry. This is Lord Potato, and this is what if Luffy was a reincarnation of Kakashi Hatake and Gojo Satoru? Yeah. What's it called? I was about to say part 5 for some reason. No, part 3. I'm not gonna go into a recap because I uploaded this yesterday. So yeah, we go into Luffy back to what's it called? Going back to his crewmates at the table. He just went to go talk to Zeph if what's called they got any more what's called extra chefs and all that because Luffy needs to find a chef. So yeah, of course with that happening, we go into Luffy. Now he was thinking of actually going until he actually kind of got a cupcake, and the person says, "Hey, what are you doing?" Luffy just said "Kamui," and managed to teleport it out of nowhere and give him more some berries and all that. And of course the person says, "Oh, you're paying, okay." This is where Luffy he kind of puts a small genjutsu over his face, and of course he just starts eating the cupcake without anyone noticing that he doesn't have his mask or anything like that. Now, of course, this is where he just This is where, Nami actually ordered more food. Not because she was hungry, but she was saying, "Hey, Luffy, do you want to eat? I order you some food." That's where Luffy says, "Nah, I already ate." Nami says, "What?" Luffy says, "Yeah, I kind of ate a cupcake before coming out over here." That's where Nami says, "That isn't healthy for you." Luffy says, "Nah, it's fine." And so, of course, this is where Nami just hears the laughter a little bit. And, of course, she's just guessing that Luffy's smiling again. But, of course, she kind of goes red a little bit because it kind of feels very warm. Of course, no one can see it because Luffy has a mask for his face and a mask for his eyes. So, basically a blindfold. Now, of course, the blindfold is, black while the mask is kind of blue, okay? It'll be like this, but yeah, it'll be different colors. Now, of course, we go into Luffy just talking to, his crewmates and all that. And, of course, is where Ginichimaru, I think that's his name, the guy that, said he was hungry and all that. Of course, the chefs kicked him out. But, of course, Luffy saw Sanji going to go feed him and all that. So, Luffy kind of got up and said, "I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick. Don't worry about me." Of course, Luffy didn't go to a bathroom. Well, not, he didn't say go bathroom. He just says, "I'm going to take a walk for a while." Of course, Luffy saw what Sanji was doing. And of course, the person who was eating and all that, the food, he says, "Thank you, thank you." That's where Luffy says, very interesting. So, what pirate are you from? This is where, what's it called? I forgot his name fully. I'm going to just say G or something. He says that he's from the great... Fuck, I forgot his other name. But wait. So, of course, he says he's from the Don Krieg pirates. And, of course, Sanji says, "Who?" Luffy says, interesting. That's where, G asks, "How can he see?" And Luffy says, "It's none of your business." And, of course, this is where, for some reason, G kind of felt like this, shiver up his spine. Like, he felt like this just kind of presence being kind of very, very angry at him. Now, of course, where Luffy's not angry, he just doesn't like people keep questioning about why does he have all this. Just Luffy never liked showing anything. He had shade of glasses when he was younger, just because he never liked showing his eyes. So yeah. Of course, when he got older, he kind of just decided to put on the mask and act like Kakashi. So yeah. Of course, is where, Luffy starts sending kind of this anger at him. And of course, he says, "Oh, that's just because I am blind." And of course, is where Sanji says, "Interesting, and blind pirates?" And this is where Luffy says, "That I can kick your ass, yes." Sanji gets a tick mark and says, "Really? You can kick my ass? I would love to see that." Luffy is already in front of him and just poking him in the head, saying, "Yeah, I can kick your ass super easily." This is where Sanji could not react fast enough. Neither did, I forgot his name, okay. He was like, "Holy shit." Both of them in her mind say, "Holy shit, he is fast." This is where Luffy says, "Well, interesting. Your name is Sanji, aren't you?" That's where Sanji said, yeah. And who, you must be Luffy from that crew, pirate crew. That's where Luffy says, yes. Nice to meet you, Sanji. Sanji says, no thanks. I really need a, what's it called, handshake. A pirate. Luffy said, I can swim perfectly fine. I don't know what you're talking about. That's where Sanji says, sure. Well, not swim perfectly fine. He says, yeah, he can, what's it called, wash his hands and all that. He already washed his hands. And of course, this is where Sanji says, whatever. That's where Luffy says, also, do you guys not recognize from my bounty? That's where Sanji says, what are you talking about? Luffy just pulls up his bounty and says, yeah, this is me, the White Ghost. No, not really, he didn't pull it up. This is where G realized who was Luffy, and he says, you're the White Ghost. Sanji says, what? The White what? This is where G explains that White Ghost has 50 million berries on him. This is where Luffy smiles, but of course, no one can ever tell what he's actually doing. It's only a ghostly smile. This is where they are just guessing that Luffy's smiling, grinning, like a madman. But of course, this is where, well, Sanji says, so, you must be the ghost, I see. You are dangerous, you know that. And Luffy says, I know. So, would you join my pirate crew? Sanji says, no. This is where, well, what's it called? This is where, well, G says, are you a devil fruit user? And this is where Luffy says, if I was a devil fruit user, how the hell can I swim? He jumps down and starts swimming around. And of course, this is where Sanji says, huh, I guess he's not a devil fruit user. This is where he gets up and all that, and he uses lightning. And of course, he just, well, evaporates the water. This is where they're confused how Luffy can do that, but he doesn't explain anything and decides to go back to his crew. Sanji is like, I hate this guy's mysterious bullshit. This is where G just says, I hope Don Krieg isn't coming over here, so this guy's gonna be dangerous. This is where, well, about like 20 minutes later, Don Krieg appears, and of course is where he says, I need food. Of course, the chef says no. Sanji still says sure. And this is where the, well, chef gets angry at him. Zeph is still talking to Don Krieg and all that. And of course, this is where, well, Don Krieg says, ha, you will be all, you be blah, 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 I will feed my man and blah, 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 because Sanji still gave him the food and all that. Of course, this is where, well, about the while, this is where all of Don Krieg's like crew members are right now in the water because, well, Mihawk shows up and says, yo, what's good? He wants to finish what he forgot to finish. Well, he just wanted to finish what he needed to finish. But yeah, this is where Don Krieg is pissed. But this is where Zoro says, who is that? And well, he didn't say who is that. He says, that's Mihawk. This is where Luffy says, if you want to go fight him, you can go fight him. Zoro nodded. But this is where Luffy says, don't get yourself killed and all that. This is where Zoro said, I wouldn't. That's where Luffy says, then good luck. This is where, well, Zoro goes to fight him. And of course, this is where Don Krieg is like, ha, Zeph, give me your treasure pirate thing and all that he said. This is where, well, Zeph says no. Or, not pirate treasure, that's mostly the book. This is where Luffy said, hey, old man, Zeph, if I kick this man's ass 6 ways on a damn Sunday, would you lend me a shift now? This is where Zeph thinks about it and says, sure. This is where Luffy appears right in front of Don Krieg, and Don Krieg was like, what the? Luffy already puts armor and Hawk into his legs and kicks at Don Krieg. Don Krieg, he tries to block it with a golden shield, and it breaks and kicks him right in the face. Now, we go into Nami. Nami is still going to steal the pirate ship and all that, while Usan, Yakusan, and even, was it Johnny, just going after her somewhat. They had to come back and all. This is where Luffy, he kicks again. He axe kick down at what's called Don Krieg. Don Krieg decides to put spikes into up and all that to cut at Luffy. When it hit Luffy, Luffy had armor and Hawking, and this is where Luffy says, this is where he goes through hand signs and says, fire style, fire, phoenix style. This is where Don Krieg, he wasn't expecting fire and gets hit by it. It's like, what the? Whatever you are, I don't care. This is where he tries to like, hit at what's it called? Use his gun to shoot at Luffy. All the attacks were midair. Everyone goes, wait, what the fuck is going on? Luffy says, huh, so interesting. You're pretty much weaker than I was. Ever thought. Well, whenever I was a little kid. I could probably kick your ass when I was even younger. And of course, Don Krieg says, you little cocky... This is where Luffy kicks him right in... Well, not kick him. Knee him right in the stomach. This is where he only puts armor Mihawk in also again. But actually puts chakra also. To enhance the strength of the fucking knee to the stomach. Breaking 4 ribs. And 4 of those ribs actually, what's it called? Actually hit different part of his lungs and all that. Or different parts of his body. Piercing them and making them internal bleed. This is where Don Krieg's like spitting off blood and all that. Luffy appears right in front of him and says, curse energy red. Flicks him and this man goes flying. He is gone. This is where G is coming. Just done. He's like, damn it, Don Krieg. Of course he was still bleeding because he kind of got shot. Because Don Krieg didn't listen to his warning. But yeah. This is where, well, with that happening, Luffy is laughing. Of course, he does see what's it called, Zoro fight against what's it called, well, Mihawk, and of course Mihawk still defeats him. That's where Luffy sees Zoro, says, ugh. He falls down, but of course that's where Johnny and Yusan goes towards him and says, brother. That's where Luffy says, it seems that you didn't kill him, Mihawk. Mihawk says, it's just for my own purposes. Mr. Luffy smiles. He grabs a sword that was actually just floating in the sea and all that. So where he grabs it, he turns it into armor Mihawk and rushes at Mihawk. Mihawk had it to, well, dodge the slice. Because he didn't recognize what's called Luffy's speed. Or he didn't realize Luffy's speed. He almost got his head cut off. And that's where he says, interesting, are you another swordsman? Luffy says, not really. You can guess I'm a swordsman, but I'm not. I just want to test out my speed. That's where Mihawk says, interesting. Zoro pulls out his giant sword because he got to get serious because Luffy is fast. That's right, Luffy. He goes through, well, just one style hand signs on his sword and it turns into lightning. He rushes at Mihawk, clashing with his sword. This is where Mihawk wasn't expecting lightning. But of course, he and his sword, since it does have armor Hawking and all that, he thought that the armor Hawking could just easily neglect the, what's it called, lightning attack. But since this lightning is basically chakra lightning and not a devil fruit lightning, Luffy easily just he's just kind of cutting and chipping through what's it called, Mihawk's kind of sword. Mihawk actually notices and jumps away. This is where Luffy, he turns off the lightning and goes for wind style. And of course, this is where, well, Mihawk is dodging. Of course, he didn't recognize that the sword, even though it's kind of a short sword and all that, it still managed to cut him in the cheek. And he was like, what the? But that sword didn't even hit me. Luffy says, even though it didn't hit you, I'm using wind style. So it makes the blade kind of more longer and sharper. You won't be able to see it unless you use arbitration Hawking. Which I guess you're not probably able to use that neither. Or, I never actually tested it out with my brother. But whatever. This is where, well, Mihawk says, what the? He tries to use arbitration Hawking, but realized that he can't even dodge it with arbitration Hawking. Luffy, he was not going to stab into what's it called, well, Mihawk, because this is where Zoro says, Luffy, from this day on, I promise you that you won't need to even use the sword, because I will become the strongest. Luffy says, I guess my crew member is still not dead. And I guess he now declares that he wants to become the strongest swordsman. I guess I'll help him with that. This is where he just drops his sword into the water and just dips. He just disappears. While Mihawk was just trying to recognize his speed, and he couldn't. He was like, what the hell is this kid? Then he recognized Luffy's hair and recognized this is the white ghost. He wasn't expecting the white ghost to mostly whoop his ass somewhat. Well, Luffy actually even trying. Luffy has not even tried that much. He is only using not even that much power. Now, of course, when he does see Yusan and Johnny and all that, Johnny used on the telling them that what's it called, Nami has actually took the ship and all that. And this is where Luffy says, Zoro, didn't I tell you to look at their Nami? This is where Zoro says, do you see I'm a little fucking busy? And passes out. This is where Luffy says, Johnny, you son. Wait, that reminds me, the old man, before we go. This is where he just goes back on the boat and all that. On the, restaurant and all that. And he says, hey old man. You mind feeding me something real fast? He says, sure. It's like soup and all that Sanji made. And Luffy's eating it. Now, of course, people are kind of curious, but the nobles and all that all ran away, okay? But Luffy's eating with a genjutsu on, and he's saying, the soup's pretty good. This is where the, crew of the chefs and all, the crew members of the chef, they say the soup stinks and all that, it sucks to Sanji, still bully him. But, of course, this is where Sanji says, screw all of you. And, of course, he went to pack up and all that to go with Luffy and all that. And this is where, Luffy says, that's kind of harsh, don't you think? Even if he doesn't want to go with me, it doesn't matter. This is where Zeph says, nah, he's just a very stubborn kid. He thinks that he needs to promise me ever since he was younger. That promise was never a thing. He's just very stubborn. I want him to go into his dream. To go to the, East Blue and find the fishes and all that. Would he be able to make his dream a reality? This is where, not the East Blue, I think it was, wasn't the East Blue? What was Sanji's dream? Fuck, I forgot Sanji's dream. But to go like into, the grand line to find, the different East Blue and what's called the Southwest and North Blues and all that into one place with a bunch of fishes and all that. And of course, is where Luffy, he looks at him. And of course, is where Zeph is thinking that Luffy is looking at him with his eyes. But since no one can actually see Luffy's face because he uses a small darkness jutsu to actually cover up his face. It's only a genjutsu. It's called genjutsu hidden. So of course, he just hides his face. But of course, Zeph is seeing Luffy. But of course, he doesn't see Luffy's face and all that. Since it's just pure black and all that. And of course, people are shocked with that. But this is where Luffy says, of course I'll make him the promise. I'll make it a reality. What do you think I am? Going to break his promise? Hell no. Like I said, I'll become the Pirate King. And make everyone in my crew members their dreams a reality. Don't you ever forget that, old man. This is where let me say that again. This is where Sanji hears that. And of course, he gets in and of course, he goes and he just starts kind of roasting everyone and says, let's go, Luffy? Of course, with that happening, they go and of course, this is where when they're kind of on a small boat, this is where Sanji starts breaking in tears and telling the old man that he was grateful for everything, he was grateful for everyone else. He just everyone in the restaurant started just breaking into tears in the death. This is where everyone is just saying, bye Sanji, good luck. This is where Sanji kind of waves back and says, thank you all. But of course, with that sad moment, this is where Luffy says, Johnny, Usan, can you tell me where Nami would have went? And of course, since Usan is with someone with, I think it was with Nami or was in the ship. Oh yeah, I think he was in the merry-go and all that. This is where Johnny and Usopp said, oh yes, they went to, I'm guessing, wait, no. Could they? Could Big Sis Nami went too? This is where Johnny looks at Usopp and Usopp says, this is where Usopp says, I think she went towards the, a island called, an island ruled over by Arlong fishmen. This is what Luffy says. Why so dramatic about his name? He's just a fishman. What we gotta do, burn him? He cannot fish. This is where Sanji kind of chuckles. He's just like, well, you gotta make a joke over that now. Now, of course, Luffy does have his mask and all that. But of course, this is where he wonders why Nami kind of went there. Does she have some kind of background? Some messed up background and all that. Now, of course, Luffy was never alone. He was always having, either Monaco, or what's it called? Yeah, did I say Monaco? Monaco. You know, I forgot her name. The green hair girl. Of course, this is where, well, Luffy kind of met her, and he always think of her like a big sis. He met what's called his two other brothers, Sabo and Sanji. Let me say that again. Sabo and Ace, not Sanji. Okay, I almost fucked up the name, but yeah. He always kind of had Garp, but of course he always hates Garp, but kind of loves Garp a little bit, like a grandfather somewhat, even though he kind of hated him. But Luffy doesn't really hate him that much. Now, of course, he also had what's called the bandits and all that, even though they hated Luffy for the much trouble that Luffy has ever caused them. But yeah. So Luffy is just thinking, does she have no one else? It's kind of sad. And of course, he does get, well, kind of a memory flashback from, well, Kakashi, how Kakashi lost everything and gained something back, okay? He lost everyone. He lost Obito. He lost Rin. I mean, what he did to Rin is the fastest way to a girl's heart story. But yeah. Of course, he had Sasuke. Well, I mean, he lost what's called Minato. Then he had a team with Sasuke, Naruto, and Sakura. Of course, he lost Sasuke. And then he kind of lost Naruto somewhat, because Naruto mostly trained with Jiraiya. But of course, he trained to become stronger and all. In the war, he thought he lost Naruto and Sasuke, but they came back stronger and beat Madara's. Well, I mean, Madara kind of whooped their ass a little bit. Okay, Naruto 1v1 is Madara. I think Madara whooped his ass. Madara versus Sasuke 1v1 again. Even with their power boosts, I think they would have got their ass beat if they weren't together. Yeah, if they wouldn't just fought together and all that. But yeah, not the point. Let me go back into the what if. So, of course, this is where, well, Luffy is, well, wait. Okay, I'm just wondering because, no, never mind. Luffy, he is, well, what's it called? Just going towards the island and all that. And when they got to the island, that's where Usopp and Johnny, Zoro kind of went off somewhere, and of course, where Luffy is trying to look for Usopp. But not Usopp. This is where, well, Luffy is kind of with Sanji and all that. And yeah, well, Zoro also came along, you know. But of course, there's someone in the island and all that. They're kind of going around and all that. So let's go towards what happens. So yeah, so everything would go the original same and all that. But this is where Luffy, he met the what's called blue-haired girl and all that. Well, what's called Nami's sister and all that. And Zoro and Sanji kind of simping for her. But yeah, what's her name? So of course they meet Nojiko, who is Nami's kind of like not half sister. They're not blood related, but they're like sisters still. So of course they meet her. Of course, this is where Luffy kind of actually stays to listen about Nami's background story. And of course, Luffy kind of gets a little angry and all that. But yeah, of course, they kind of go back to Nojiko's kind of house and all that, like original canon, I think. Where did Luffy go? Fuck, I don't remember. This is where, well, they just, original canon. This is where, well, Nami still kind of goes into, well, the middle of the town and all that, and starts stabbing herself and all that. Of course, Luffy finds out that Usopp is still alive and all that. And this is where Usopp says, Nami's, He just says Nami didn't really kill him and all that. So yeah. That's where Luffy sees Nami just stabbing herself and all that. Because, yeah. Of course, this is where Luffy, he goes to Nami. And this is where Nami says, Luffy. This is where Luffy actually, what's it called? God, why the hell did I say actually twice? No. He put his hand right in between what's called a knife, but lets it actually stab him. This is where everyone is shocked, because they always thought that Luffy was invincible because of his shield and all that. But no, Luffy just let the knife kind of stab him. This is where, well, Luffy just takes off the knife and all that from his hand. And this is where, well, Luffy, He doesn't take off his straw hat because he doesn't have it and all that. This is where he takes off his blindfolds and takes off his mask down. This is where everyone is shocked and actually seeing Luffy's face for the first time. Luffy's like what's it called? He has white eyebrows and all that, and of course his crystallized blue eyes are looking into Nami. What's it called? I forgot Nami's eye color. So crystallized blue eyes looking into Nami's brown eyes. This is where Luffy, he just smiles somewhat like gently just towards Nami. And this is where Luffy grabs Nami's arm, and this is where he puts his blindfold on her like arm, the place that was bleeding and all that. And this is where his mask is just down kind of near his neck and all. And this is where Luffy says, "Don't worry, Nami. I'll help you. I'll destroy Arlong." So this is where Nami said, "Luffy?" This is where everyone sees Luffy's kind of crystallized blue eyes, eyebrows that are, eyelashes that are kind of white and kind of eyebrows also. And of course, this is where they also see that his smile is very bright. Everyone is like, damn. Some of the girls and all that, they just go, God damn, he looks cool. Or amazing and all that. This is where Nami kind of blushes a little bit, and she can kind of feel the warm touch from, Luffy and all that. This is where Luffy's arm, he just heals because he uses, reverse curse energy and all that. Reverse curse energy to heal his arm and all. This is where Luffy says, "Zoro, Sanji, let's go." This is where they say, "Got it, Captain." So of course they go with what's called Luffy, and they actually kind of teleport because Luffy grabs from both of their shoulders and appears right in front of the door. This is where Sanji and Zoro was about to do something until Luffy says, reverse curse energy, red. Or, let me say that again. Curse energy, red. So, of course, this is where he just makes a kind of medium ball and all that, and launches it at the door, and it blasts the whole thing off, just breaking everything. This is where they see Luffy. This is where Luffy looks at them and say, "Let's go already." With a dark, menacing tone. Pissed. Luffy is like extremely pissed, okay? This is where Luffy's eyes, they just turn into red, morph into the Sharingan, and it just becomes the 1, 2, 3 Tomoe's into the EMS, the MS in both of his eyes. So instead of being crystallized blue, they are now the MS. Now I know some people are gonna be saying, "Are you sure it's not the DMS?" Yes, it's the double Sharingan in both of his eyes, like I just said. And I know some people are going to say, what about, isn't it like Obito's kind of like EMS? No, it's not an EMS. Obito, the reason why he never went blind was because of the Hashirama cells. So yeah, since he shared his chakra with what's called Kakashi, since he shared his energy and chakra with Kakashi and all, like gave it all to Kakashi, I'm going to say that Kakashi also has, Hashirama cells, but he never learned how to use them because he only has the cells. Somewhat, the chakra, mostly. But Luffy does have the chakra and kind of, not the cells, mostly the chakra, so yeah. So can he do wood type? Kind of. It's gonna be similar towards like, Yamato's wood style. Kind of weaker. So yeah. Luffy actually found out how to do that, but yeah. Of course, this is where both Zoro and Sanji, for some reason, had a shiver down their spines. Because when they saw that, they also saw how pissed, how angry Luffy was, and how he's gonna murder Arlong. Of course, this is where when Luffy walks in, his red eyes his red crimson eyes meets up with what's it called, Arlong. And of course, this is where Arlong's kind of crew tries to attack Luffy. Luffy doesn't move. This is where both Sanji and Zoro kick the shit out of two of the fishmen. And this is where, they look at Arlong and all that. Now, Yusun is not there. He's kind of with Nami and all that. Because everyone is still kind of shocked with how Luffy looks like. And this is where Nami saying, "Please, Luffy, be fine." This is where she's just hoping for Luffy to be fine. Now, Luffy is right now in front of Arlong saying, "You're dead meat. Literally, you fucking fish." This is where Arlong gets mad and tries to punch Luffy. He thought he hit Luffy, but went through him and was shocked. Now, Luffy was right behind him. Back kicks Arlong right in the head. Pa! hitting him into his building. Now, of course, he is mad and rushes at Luffy and tries to punch at Luffy, and Luffy dodges the attack and then upper knees him in the jaw with Arlong mostly. So, of course, this is where he's just Arlong saying, "You bastard of a human. Do you not know we fishermen are just blah, 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 blah." Luffy doesn't care. He rushes at what's it called Arlong, punches him into the water. And Luffy knows that, well, fishermen are stronger in water. That's why Luffy, he just goes through hand signs and says, "Lightning murder." This is where he shoots lightning from his hand. Just kind of, what's it called, sending a giant bolt of charge into Arlong. And Arlong's, of course, he managed to get out of the water, kind of feeling the paralyzed in his body still, the numbness and all that. And this is where he says, "You bastard human." It's where Luffy says, "I don't give two fucks about your fucking life, fishman." That's where Luffy kicks him up in the fucking building, in the same kind of building where Luffy was kind of sent, or, yeah, when Luffy was kind of sent and all. This is where Arlong says, "No, the maps." This is where Luffy looks around and sees the maps, and this is where he just grabs one of the maps. And of course, he sees a small table. And since he kind of heard what Nami kind of joined with the, what's it called, Arlong's and all, he was even more rage. He was beyond pissed. This is where he just looks at Arlong. Arlong did try to pull out his sword, but Luffy grabs the sword, shattering into a million pieces. Luffy is beyond pissed, grabs Arlong's face and smashes it to the ground. This is where he says, "If you want the maps, and I guess I will have to obliterate you and the maps." This is where Arlong says, "You bat," and then he gets like cuts what's it called. Since Luffy, he does have weapons and all that, like kunais and all, he pulls out a kunai, puts lightning chakra into it, and just slashes at Arlong's kind of chest, bleeding him out. This is where Arlong says, "You brat." But this is where it was called. Luffy decided to pull out 3 other kunais and just send them at what's it called. So he sent them at what's called, Arlong and all that. And Arlong did get kind of hit to the ground and all that, because, well, Luffy did also kick him down to the ground. And those 3 kunais just hit him right in the arm. Well, one in the arm, the other arm, and the other leg, so he wouldn't be able to move. And Luffy jumps out. This is where Luffy goes through hand signs. And this is where Luffy, he charges up a small lightning ball in his hand. And this is where somewhat a thunderstorm started appearing. And then the thunderclouds started rubbing all that. And this is where Zoro and Sanji are kind of up and all that. Just, well, kind of looking up. And they see, their what's called, their leader and all that. Their, what's it called, captain. And all they see, their captain. But they also see a lightning dragon appear behind him. This is where everyone sees that also. Now, I'm going to say that, well, since there's 1,000 jutsus that what's called Kakashi knows, I'm going to say that he kind of fight against someone that actually uses a lightning dragon, okay? We don't actually know how many jutsus he has 1,000 jutsus. But half the jutsus were never shown, I think so. Mostly like Earth Wall and all them other things like Chidori. This is where Luffy says, "Lightning style. Kiri." Kiri. This is where Kiri roars and all that. And this is where Arlong says, "What the? No! This is where he just flicks the ball of lightning at what's it called, Arlong. And it just appears right in front of Arlong. And Arlong says, "No!" The, giant lightning dragon just smashes into a building, eradicating everything around it. Now, of course, this is where Zoro and Sanji were about to get caught in the blast radius until Luffy appears right next to them. And, of course, he just flicks away from them. Not flicks away from them. He grabs both of them and just disappear away from the blast radius. When everyone just decided to open their eyes because the blindness kind of hurt their eyes, the light and all that, they look up and they see just this giant crater and water just rushing into the crater. It's where everyone was shocked, and Luffy appeared right next to everyone. This is where Zoro and Sanji say, "We're alive! Holy shit!" Now, of course, this is where Nami sees Luffy. Luffy was kind of pissed and annoyed. and his eyes were still morphed into the Money Sharingan. But of course, this is where he what's called, well, it's called, deactivated and actually went back into his crystallized blue eyes. This is where he looks at Nami and he just smiles at her. This is where Nami feels relieved, feels glad, but feels also terrified of how Luffy just one-shotted Arlong and his crew members. Like, holy shit. And they weren't actually expecting a giant lightning dragon. This is where, what's it called? The Marines still appear to Captain, even though he's shaking. He says, "Give me all your gold, pirates." Now Luffy looks up behind him, and what he does is the same, what's it called? You know when Gojo, he appears with that, what's it called? What's it called? I forgot their name. Not Jujutsu Kaisen. The old man to protect him and all. And when the old man says, "Don't kill him," that's what Luffy does. But this time Luffy kills the person. He just murders him. So of course he kills that captain while even moving his hand. This is where everyone was like, "Holy shit!" So the person's body is all mangled up and destroyed and all that. And his head is gone. Luffy just has it floating right in his arm. This is when he looks at the other Marines. The other Marines are like, "Oh, wait, don't do anything to us." That's where Luffy appears on right next to him. And he says, "Lightning style. Raining," what's it called? He just says, "Earth style. Earth spikes." This is where Earth spikes appear and just stabs all of them. This is where everyone is shocked. They weren't expecting a pirate to murder a Marine. Then again, they weren't really expecting Luffy to kind of help them in destroy Arlong. This is where Luffy just blood kind of flowing down from his face and all that. And of course, this is where it's just flowing down from his face. But it's not his blood because all the, what's it called, earth spikes just pierced the Marines. And all the blood just went up in the air and kind of started raining down until, well, on top of Luffy's face. Well, not Luffy's face, but down on his hair. So blood just started falling down. This is where Luffy, he just looks at Nami. He just smiles. Just with another gentle smile. This is where his bright smile just made everyone ignore everything. So yeah. So of course with that happening, we go into, not time skip. We'll see a kind of like 30 minutes time skip. This is where, Luffy just showered up and all that. Now, of course, everyone did get the money of, the money, because Luffy did went to the Marine base that, he found from that one captain and all that, and murdered all the Marines, and did get all the money back, and also get all the money back before he destroyed Arlong Park. Arlong Park, yeah. So, of course, with that happening, Luffy he's showering up and all that because he has blood all over his body and all that. From either Arlong or from the Marines or from the captain. Yeah, you get the point. But Luffy did free some people that were in the Marine base and all that. So, yeah. As a word, Luffy, he just showers up. He does kind of wash his clothes with him. And, of course, even though his clothes are also wet, because he doesn't have a second pair and all that, this is where he uses lightning strike to kind of just evaporate all the water and all. So yeah, just to heat it up. So of course this is where Luffy, he just walks out. And of course this is where what's it called? Nojiko just kind of looks at Luffy and smiles at him. And Luffy smiles back. And of course this is where everyone on the crew is still kind of shocked how Luffy looks and all that. But of course Luffy did kind of just put over what's it called? Well, he did also find what's called not fine. Nami did give him back his blindfold, because Luffy did put on his mask back again. So yeah. And of course, this is where Nami says thank you with quiet voice. This is where Luffy says, Nami, you don't need to join my crew. And he did have his mask and his blindfold back on. He says, you don't need to join my crew if you don't want to. I'm not forcing you, okay? This is where Nami says, no, I want to go. That's where Luffy smiles and all. She only sees a ghostly smile because, she can't really forget anything. And God, that smile kind of burned into her head. But yeah. This is where Luffy kind of just chuckles. It's like, I guess so. This is where he looks at Nojiko. Well, he just says, thank you for letting me use your shower. That's where Nojiko says, no problem. So we go into 20 minutes later. And Luffy's on his back on his, like, what they call, pirate boat. So mostly to go and marry. And of course, it's where, well, Nojiko is saying, well, bye, what's called Luffy and the others, thank you for helping us. It's where Luffy kind of asked Nojiko, you know, since I'm going to be taking your sister with me to whatever her dream is, or not whatever her dream is, to kind of mark the whole world and all that, and make a map, do you mind coming along to just, well, look over your sister and she doesn't get into trouble? That's where Nojiko thinks. And this is where that one dude that has kind of like that somewhat brown clothes, I forgot his name and all, but with the mustache and all, he's like, no, wait, no, Nojiko. Nojiko says, sure. And she like gets on also. And this is where Nojiko says, where's Nami? This is where Nami appears and says, wait up. This is where she rushes past everyone and just like takes their money still. This is where she says, thanks for the money. And this is where everyone says, wait, what? God damn it. And of course, this is where everyone says, God damn it. Of course, Luffy chuckles and all that. This is where Nojiko says, God damn it, Nami, you're not supposed to steal. And this is where Nami says, Nojiko, you're coming along with us? This is where Nojiko says, why, of course. How else am I going to have to keep my little sister in check? This is where Nami says, I guess so. This is where Luffy says, well, Nami, now's for your punishment. That's where Nami goes, huh? Nojiko says, so yeah, there had to be a punishment for stealing his ship. That's where Nami says, no. I promise I won't steal your ship ever again. I won't take anything. That's where Luffy says. This is where, well, Luffy kind of just says this out loud. Well, not out loud. He just kind of, well, he does say out loud. He says, well, you just have to sleep on my bed and I have to use you as a kind of plushie. This is where Nami goes bright red. And of course, this is where Sanji goes, what? What am I hearing? Hell no. What about me? Luffy kind of looks at Sanji. He like, what's it called, puts his blindfold up and all that. And shows his red crimson eye at what's called Sanji. And Sanji says, never mind. Continue on. He says, let me just go over here and cry. Usan is just like, huh. Also, Usan and what's it called, Johnny. Yosan and Johnny. Well, they still dip and all that. They're like, yo, we gotta go, well, still be, what's it called, bounty hunting duel and all that. And Luffy allows it, so yeah. He does say bye to them and all that, so yeah. Of course, this is where Nami's going bright red, and this is where Nojiko says, huh, I guess that is a good punishment. This is where Nami says, no, Nojiko, you can't just do that to me. This is where Nojiko kind of giggles and all that. She's like, oh, well, it's too bad, Nami. Maybe you shouldn't steal people's stuff. This is where Nami says, no. She refuses to. But this is where Luffy says, huh, okay. Then let's just turn the ship back around and kind of leave you back at what's called, well, your town. And that means you won't be able to mark out the world. Well, mark the world into a big map and all that. This is where Nami just thinks about it and says, damn it. Fine. How long would this have to be? For 1 month. And she like goes, what? This is where Luffy chuckles and all that. Now, of course, this is where, well, Nojiko also giggles. And of course, this is where Zoro just ignores everything. He likes his captain being serious and all that. But of course, he doesn't really like his captain being scary as fuck. That actually scares the shit out of him. So, yeah. But he doesn't mind, well, Luffy kind of being somewhat childish and all that. Then again, when they did kind of see Luffy's face, they kind of saw somewhat Luffy kind of being somewhat kid a little bit. But yeah. Because Luffy's only 17, so yeah. So he's not a kid, he's mostly a teenager, but yeah. This is where, well, they said, well, Nami, we're going to this, what's called, next island. Because he did kind of got a map from Shanktown how to get to the Grand Line and like, but yeah. when Shanks says whenever you get a crew members or not. So yeah. Then Shanks says you can probably solo them, all of them. Well, solo everyone, even without a crew. He said it quietly when he was talking to Luffy when they were younger, or when Luffy was younger. This is where Luffy kind of chuckles. He smiles, and of course Shanks, he just says, "Goddamn cocky brat." This is where Luffy chuckles and says, "I mean, when you got no crew, you got no crew." This is where, Shanks says, "Whatever, you brat." Luffy just chuckles at him. So yeah. Now, this is where what's called, they go to Loguetown. Now, of course, they get there for they get there in 3 days. Now, of course, when, Luffy is using kind of Nami like a plushie and all that. Now, they aren't doing anything. Nami is always kind of embarrassed before she goes to sleep and all that. Because, well, she's having kind of like thoughts. Very dirty thoughts like half of you people. But, of course, Luffy doesn't do anything. He just mostly kind of hugs her. He kind of uses her as a plushie mostly. And no, he doesn't grab anything. He kind of just hugs her. Now, of course, he only does this because he just likes teasing on a lot of people. Now, of course, Nojiko, she sleeps in her own room and all. With mostly the girl side and all. Zoro and Sanji, yeah, you get the point. They got their own rooms. Usopp also. But yeah. This is where, they get there. Of course, this is where, this is Loguetown and all. And of course, this is where everyone's kind of amazed and all. And Luffy says, "Don't worry, just leave the boat here. Don't worry, we'll be back." And also, he looks at everyone. Also, I was reading the papers, and I'm thinking since I defeated Don Krieg, Arlong, and a bunch of other people, they are putting my bounty pretty high. They said, "How much?" 100 million. What the hell, Luffy? Luffy just chuckles. He says, "Don't worry. Zoro also held the bounty." This is where Zoro says, "I do?" "Yeah, you do. Since you're in my crew, but they don't really know about Nami, Sanji, or Usopp, your bounty stats, well, I would say, or not I would say, it says on the paper, you're at like 35 million. This is where Zoro kind of chuckles and smiles and says, "I guess that just seems because of my talent." That or probably Mihawk just kind of put you there. This is where Zoro says, "Okay, maybe. But I don't know." Luffy said, "Okay, let's go. Also, I'm gonna have to be going in the alleyways so people wouldn't recognize me much." But yeah, this is where everyone kind of just says, "Okay." Now, before going into the, what's it called, Loguetown, Luffy actually decides to start training his crew members in those 3 days. He started training them in armament hawking and observation hawking. Now, observation hawking was really easy for him to learn. Really easy for Luffy too. Armament hawking was also kind of easy. Conqueror's hawking was pretty easy for him also to learn. He explains to his crew members about the 3 hawkings. Armament hawking can just neglect any devil fruit user and can easily punch them and all that. Or even put them into weapons. Like swords, blades, spears, and all them other things. This is where they nodded. But Luffy says, "But we are going to learn observation hawking first. Because observation hawking, if you master it enough, you can be able to see into the future, be able to predict attacks and all that, or dodge attacks from behind." He really wanted to say it's kind of like the Byakugan now, think about it. Because, well, he has Kakashi's memories, but he isn't going to say it like that. And then he just says, "So yeah." Now, this is where he explains how to, learn. This is where he puts everyone into blindfolds. And they are saying, "Great, we're now Luffy." What's called Usopp said. Nami and the others chuckle and all that. This is where, Luffy kind of pulls out a stick and gives it to Nojiko and says, "You're going to be training your sister. Zoro, you're going to be training Sanji. And Usopp, I'm going to be training you." This is where Usopp says, "What are we actually doing?" "Well, you gotta dodge the stick hit. Now, it's gonna go straight towards your head, and if you don't dodge, use an observation hawking. So let's do it." So, of course, they use, 2.5 days to kind of try to learn observation hawking. Nami actually was kind of, able to learn a little bit. And even what's called, well, Uson, while Nojiko, she barely could use it and all that. And Zoro, it took him a while. It just like, it really wasn't sticking that much together with him. And this is where Sanji, he tries to learn it and he barely could either. Of course, when the other couple of half days and all, the other 2.5 days before going to Loguetown, Luffy trains him in armor hacking. That's where, well, they start trying to use their will into their arms and all that, or weapons, mostly Zoro's doing. But Luffy says you gotta learn it first on your arms before putting it on your blade. This is where Luffy, he had to go on a 1v1 against everyone. So of course it was Sanji, and Sanji started trying to kick at Luffy, but Luffy says you gotta put armament on your, well, I mean, if that's your specialty, then your legs mostly. So Sanji says, what, do I have to take off my, what's it called, shoes or what? Luffy says no, because I'm gonna be having armor hacking on me, and if I collide with your fists, I mean not fists, your kicks, and I can feel that it has armor hacking on it, then I'm gonna say that you have armor hacking, or you got a hang of it. So of course when Sanji is trying to kick at what's called Luffy, using trying to put armor hacking, that's where he managed to put a little bit of armor hacking into his legs and trying to kick at Luffy because he's getting so much frustrated against Luffy. Luffy, he dodges a kick, and of course, the kick was about to hit him. This is where he blocks it with his armor hacking, and it collide. And of course, where Luffy realized that he did put armor hacking. He's very impressed. He, like, smiles at Sanji and says, well, Sanji, it seems that you did put armor hacking. This is where Sanji says, yeah. This is where Luffy says, but you gotta learn more how to use armor hacking, but at the same time, using armor hacking. So that's why the next person I'm going to be fighting is Zoro. Zoro says, wait, what? Zoro, let's do this. Get your ass down here and stop sleeping. Zoro says, fine. This is where Zoro, he only has one sword, and of course not his 3 swords out. That's where Luffy says, even though you have one sword, it doesn't matter, you can use it against me. But I want you to at least try to punch at me with a very, a style of yours. This is where Zoro, he does know how to, punch or kick and all that, but he doesn't really have a style in, hand-to-hand combat. This is where Zoro says, Luffy says, you can't be serious. You only know 3 sword style? Zoro says, somewhat. This is where Luffy gets kind of annoyed. He has a tick mark that everyone can see. And of course, this is where Zoro says, wait, don't go hellish on me. Wait, Luffy. This is where Luffy says, too the fuck bad. Now I'm actually going to be teaching you a fighting, a hand-to-hand combat style, and also how to learn armor hacking. So it only took 1 day, 1.5 day for, Zoro to learn the hand-to-hand combat a little bit, but also kind of put armor hacking onto his arms and also onto a sword a little bit. That's where Luffy was amazed and said, you're pretty good at using armor hacking. Better than Sanji. Sanji says, what? It was 1 time. Besides, Zoro had more time against you. Luffy says, even though if he had more time against me, he was learning also how to fight in hand-to-hand combat. If he loses his swords, he needs to learn how to go into hand-to-hand combat. Now, right, Zoro? Don't forget those hand-to-hand combat, or I'ma beat your ass. Zoro said, yes, sir. This is where, next is Nami and Nojiko. And this is where Luffy says, since I have to really speed this up before we go into Loguetown, because I don't know how many Marines are going to be there, I got to teach you guys really fast. And this is where Nojiko and Nami said, not. So, of course, this is where Nojiko is trying to punch at what's it called, Nami, well, not Nami, at Luffy. Luffy dodges. Nami's trying to kick at her, at what's it called, Luffy. Of course, Luffy realized that they don't have neither hand-to-hand combat styles or anything. So, like, taijutsu or anything. And Luffy says, I gotta reteach them. Whatever. So, of course, he does, before he lets what's called Nami or Nojiko try to punch him, he realized Nojiko actually did put armor hacking into her hand a little bit. This is where Luffy's impressed, but this is where he said, even though you learn armor Mihawking, and Nami still trying to punch at me. Nami says, whatever. This is where he talks about them. Even if you do learn armor Mihawking or arbitration Hawking, you will still need to learn taijutsu. This is where they say taijutsu, hand-to-hand combat, Luffy said. Oh, weird kind of way to call it. Whatever, I call it like that. Luffy said, I will have to teach you a basic one, but then when you learn the basic one, I'll give you an advanced one that you will learn. Either it would be your style, or yeah. But yeah, that's where Luffy kind of teaches them just a normal taijutsu, just like the academy basic, but still pretty good. But yeah, that's where Luffy does teach them that. And of course, that's where he's next is Usopp, and Usopp says, I don't have hand-to-hand combat, I'm mostly a sniper. Luffy says, why does none of my crewmates know how to go hand-to-hand combat taijutsu? That's where he looks at Usopp, and he said, well, it's turning dark now, and tomorrow will be a full day. So, we will train with that tomorrow. That's where he goes towards his room and all that. Nami does go in also. Well, Nami first and then Luffy. Because Nami had to change and all that. So, yeah. Of course, that's where Luffy goes in, and he just goes to sleep and all that. Now, of course, this is where Luffy kind of does sweat and all that, and he does have to, well, jump into the water, kind of swim around, kind of wash himself a little bit, and then go back on the boat. Then yeah, this is where, well, everyone is still surprised if he can do that, and he's not a Delphi user. But yeah, this is where, well, Luffy is just, well, you're still kind of using what's called Nami as a plushie. But yeah, or kind of sleeping pillow and all that. Now Nami is still embarrassed, but yeah. Now we go to the next day, but yeah, this is where the whole day we actually go training Usopp and have to go hand-to-hand combat. Luffy saw that Usopp's really not someone to go to hand-to-hand combat, and it might take longer. And of course, he just says, just learn arbitration hawking, mostly. Well, advance more in the arbitration hawking. So yeah, everyone was doing something, and Luffy was just looking out into the sea. So yeah, this is where, well, they get to, well, Loguetown. So yeah, we go into Loguetown. So of course, Luffy is right now going through the alleyways, just looking around the stores. He still goes into that same bar that had kind of Goldie Rogers and all that. Or, well, that one person in it. And of course, this is where, well, he just says the bar is closed. This is where Luffy kind of sits down and says, oh really? Is it really closed? Because it said open. This is where the person says, whatever, brat. Like I just said, it was closed. He kind of, the guy just puts himself a drink and all that. And of course, this is where, well, Luffy says, can I have some? This is where the person says, aren't you a little too young? This is where Luffy says, I'm a pirate. What do you think I'm going to do? Of course I need a drink. It's been a stressful 3 days trying to train my crew and using hawking. This is where the person narrows eyes and says, hawking. Interesting. I'm surprised that someone like you, a young fella like you, even knows about hawking. So, do you know the 3 types? Luffy says, yep. Armor hawking, arbitration hawking, and conquerors hawking. Of course, my crew, I don't even know if they have conquerors hawking. So where the old man says, but what about you? Luffy just smirks and says, of course I do. The red hair did train me, but it's nothing new. This is where the guy kind of narrows his eyes and says, you're talking about red hair Shanks. Interesting. You really disrespect his name and all that. You realize he would kind of kill you and all that. Probably when I was younger, he can tried. But yeah. This is where the person narrows his eyes and says, it seems you don't really care that much, do you? Luffy kind of says, how can you tell? He says, oh, I can tell that you don't really care about his title, but you still respect him. This is where Luffy kind of smirks and says, I guess so. So of course the old man did put a drink and give it to Luffy. And Luffy does drink and says, thanks, old man. This is where Luffy leaves and all that. And this is where Luffy, he just goes towards what's called a shop. And this is where, well, he goes to a shop because he saw, and it was like to customize to Goldie, well, not Goldie Roger, to customize your Jolly Roger on a coat and all that, to kind of like do that for pirates and all. And this is where Luffy opens the door and he just sees an old man named, yeah, I don't know what to call him, okay? This is where the old man looks up and says, yes, you need something? This is where Luffy says, old man, I heard that you can customize, well, put on a coat for a captain, their Jolly Roger. This is where the old man says, of course I can, but it kind of costs a little bit. Luffy says, I don't mind. I'll pay for it. Anything. This is where he kind of gives the call. Well, he kind of asks the coat to be black. Like, kind of blackish green and all that, and purple a little bit. This is where the old man says, I got the perfect one. He, like, shows him a coat and all that. So, let me show you. So, it'd be like a pirate, a pirate's captain coat to be black and all that. But instead of being yellow, like here and all that, and the other things, it'll be purple instead. So yeah, it'll be fully black with purple and no green, okay? So of course this is where Luffy, he's like said, yeah, that's what I kind of want. And of course the man said and says, okay, how does your Jolly Roger look like? That's where Luffy, he gives him the, what's it called, how it looks like and all that. And basically it's a skull with white hair and all that. And of course the bones, what's called the crossbones, one being actually a kunai and all that. While the other one being what's it called? Well, how should I say? A blade, like a sword. A kunai and a blade and all that. And of course around it kind of being kind of purplish and red and blue. To kind of show that he has curse energies and all. But yeah. But no one actually understands. Yeah, but yeah. But of course also kind of, well, the other thing not being a kunai but actually a lightning ball instead. This is where the person says, yeah, I can make this happen. So, of course, this is where he kind of puts on the, what's it called, coat and all that, and gives it to Luffy and says, it will be this much. And Luffy says, it'd be kind of pricey. This is where the old man says, yeah, but didn't you say you would be able to pay it? Luffy says, yep, of course. This is where Luffy, he says, Kamaweed, and of course, like, pile of money appears, and gives it to the man and says, pleasure doing business with you, kid. Luffy puts on his coat and says, well, it's time to go out there. That's right, Luffy. He walks out in the public and all that. Everyone is seeing the, what's called, coat, and people are saying, that's the pirates, it's the pirates. That's where Luffy looks at what's called the execution in place. And, of course, he, like, teleports there and says, huh, this is interesting. That's where Buggy, Avita, and even, what's called, just Buggy and Avita appears. That's where Buggy tries to, put Luffy down to the thing. But, of course, realizes that he still can't hurt Luffy. And Luffy says, interesting, red curse energy. Blasts Luffy into, well, not Luffy, Buggy into the goddamn sky. So, of course, with that happening, this is where, well, Avita, like, tries to fight against Luffy, but Luffy easily kicks her into a couple buildings. And, of course, this is where Luffy says, I will become the Pirate King! And waiting for the lightning strike to hit him. But instead of, like, lightning hitting him, it's a bright sunshine just appears. Just a light of sunshine appears on Luffy. Luffy goes, wait, what the fuck? He is confused. Well, he doesn't turn around or he just says, what the fuck? I thought lightning would hit me. Because he thought he sensed the lightning about to hit him. The natural lightning. And of course, this is where everyone goes, they're widening their eyes saying, huh? Because Luffy just declares that he will become the Pirate King, and just a bright sunlight just hit him, and then he just say, they're all thinking, holy shit, he is going to be the Pirate King. This is what Luffy says. Interesting. Well, gotta leave. This is where Luffy jumps down and kind of just starts looking for his crew and all that. And of course, this is where he bumps into Smoker, and Smoker says, not straw hat, white hair. This is where Luffy says, curse energy. Well, he wasn't going to say curse energy. He says, goes through hand signs to say, firestorm, fireball. This is where, Smoker says, wait, what? Oh shit, dodges it. And this is where Luffy puts Armor Mihawk into his leg and kicks at Smoker in the head. Runs towards his crew. Of course, his crew is right now just going, "What the fuck, Luffy? What the hell was that back there?" This is where Luffy says, "Don't mind it, don't mind it, don't mind it. Just keep running." This is where, they find Zoro. Zoro kind of like running, Zoro's kind of like right next to him and all that. He kind of got lost, but found his captain and then just started running along with him. And says, "Luffy, what's happening?" Luffy says, "I might have caught something unnatural and unspeakable. I don't know what happened." This is where Zoro meets with that one girl with glasses, and she says, "Stop there, Zoro or Noah." And of course he does have this 3 plays. Now, Nochiko, she also did, let me go back into, before they got into Loguetown. Luffy gave them money and all that for Zoro to buy for his 3 swords, and Sanji to go get food and all that, and other things and supplies. Uson to get, things that he needs, and gave some money to, Nami, not a lot, but also some, not close. Money towards the Nojiko, so she can buy her a weapon, and also one for, Nami. But yeah, this is where, Nojiko, she bought herself a staff. A staff that can actually, a staff. But it's not just any normal staff. The staff can actually become, it can actually become, it can become like Bond's weapon and all that. So yeah. Of course, Nami, she has, also a staff, just like her sister. But in this staff, when she clicks button, a blade actually appears. So yeah, 2 blades from each side. So of course, where, Nami and, Nojiko are about to do something. And we're not Nojiko. So we go back into what's called Luffy. This is where, the girl with glasses still kind of says, "Zoro or Noah." This is where Luffy says, "Oh, a potential girlfriend, Zoro." This is where Zoro goes, "No." He just goes, "What the fuck? No. She's just after us. She's a Marine. You think I'm not..." "What the fuck, Luffy?" Luffy says, "Oh, I'm sorry." And of course, this is where Nojiko kind of giggles a little bit. And this is where Nami also does. This is where Zoro says, "Screw you, let's just go." This is where Luffy says, "Fine. Wind star, wind vortex," and blasts all the Marines, even the girl with glasses, away. But yeah, this is where they get to the pirate ship and they see, Sanji and Uson being there. And of course, this is where they say, "Come on, hurry up." This is where, Marines appeared and they say, "Don't let them get." And this is where Luffy says, "Water star, earth," what's it called? He says, "Water star, water wave," and slams into a bunch of the Marines, slamming them back into the wall. Of course, they really don't know what Luffy can do or can't do. Luffy just kind of goes onto the ship, grabs all of them and just teleports into the ship and says, "Go." They all kind of go into position and just set sail. This is where Luffy says, "That was easy enough." This is where he says, "That wasn't easy. We were chased by Marines." Yeah. Let's go to the Grand Line now. So of course they are going to the Grand Line. And of course a storm is hitting them and all that. Of course Luffy says, "Yeah, keep it steady." That's where Luffy started putting chakra into the boat so it wouldn't break or anything. Because he has heard what's called from Shanks that it's a little rocky there. When I mean not rocky, I mean if you don't have a good ship, your ship is gonna break. That's where Luffy says, "Fuck, I fucking hate that red hair." But yeah, he doesn't really hate him. But yeah, this is where they get through the mountain to go up and all that. But of course, this is where all of them says, "How are we gonna go up a mountain?" This is where Luffy says, "A fucking stream. What do you think? It's gonna carry us up." So of course they're amazed, and of course when they're going down the stream, they see this giant mountain. Of course, when Nami sees over the kind of way to get into the Grand Line, because Luffy does give Nami the map. So yeah. Of course, this is where when they are going through, they see the giant whale. Luffy says, "Fuck, a whale." This is where Luffy was saying, "Everyone, be careful." This is where Luffy says, "Windstar." What's it called? He says, "Windstar. when breakthrough. So of course he blasts at the well so everyone can slow down. He knew that the well wasn't gonna be pushed back, but yeah. So of course, everyone is calmed down, but this is where the whale swallows him still, gets into the whale's mouth, and yeah, you get the point. This is where they see the old man. The old man was like saying, "Hey, don't attack me. What are you doing out here?" Of course, everyone was on guard except for Luffy, and Luffy just smiles and says, "Oh, you must be the guy that Shanks kind of talk about being in the well or something." This is where, well, the old man says, "Oh, you know, red hair Shanks." So everyone kind of widened their eyes, because they really didn't know about Luffy knowing red hair Shanks. Luffy says, "Yeah, that old man always kind of complained and telling me to call him red hair Shanks or Shanks, but I really just call him old man." The old man just chuckles and laughs and says, "Interesting, very interesting." But of course, this is where the old man chuckles and says, "Ah, you call him old man." Little brat, last time I saw him. This is where, well, Luffy kind of chuckles and says, "Yeah. This is where, well, he says, well, since there's a well, you realize there's acid below." And this is where Luffy says, "Fuck, right. Can you open the freaking mouth or something like that? Or open the hatch or whatever?" So, of course, Luffy and his, well, boat so just gets out. Well, before they get out, they meet Miss Wednesday and Mr. Nine, I think so. I don't remember the guy with the crown. Of course, this is where Luffy says Zoro. Zoro punches both of them down. But yeah, well, Zoro punches what's called Mr. Nine down, and Mrs. Wednesday, she gets knocked out by Nojiko by her staff. So yeah. Of course, this is where, well, what's called, they get out of the well and all that. And of course, this is where the old man says, he does talk to what's called Luffy and the others, and of course, this is where the blue whale is still hitting his head and all that. And Luffy says, I know what to do. Sure, Luffy says, "Don't worry." Luffy jumps into the sea and looks at the whale and says, "Hey, whale, fucking fight me." This is where the whale, it kind of gets angry and all that. And this is where Luffy says, "Let's do it." Luffy takes out his blindfolds and, of course, shows his crimson red eyes into his, well, DMS. And, of course, he says, "Susanoo." Of course, he makes a giant Susanoo and punches the whale in the face. This is where everyone says, "Holy fuck! How many things does Luffy have that he doesn't want to show us?" So, of course, this is where Luffy punches the whale. And, of course, kind of, well, it doesn't really want to hurt the whale most of the time. But then slaps it again and says, "Listen to me, whale. I'm not trying to hurt you. I just want you." Well, he says, "I'll come back for you," and all them things like the original canon. And of course, he does paint his Jolly Roger onto the well and say, "Stop smacking your head into the goddamn mountain." But yeah. So where the well, I think his name was, I don't remember, fuck. But this is where he kind of cries and smiles with, well, not smiles, he just cries. And does understand Luffy and all. And Luffy goes back into normal and just, well, falls down towards his, well, crewmates. Of course, he puts his blindfold back on. And of course, this is where everyone says, "Luffy." And of course, Luffy, he says, yes, because Luffy, even though he fell down on the ground for back his blindfold, he also kind of fell down a little bit more, down to his knees. That took him a lot of chakra. And so he says, "I'm fine. Just, I'm a little tired." That's where Nami kind of grabs his arm and says, "You idiot, don't ever do something like that." Luffy says, "Oh, really? Are you worried about me?" And of course, this is where Nojiko is kind of giggling a little bit, saying, "Oh, my little sister worry about our captain." This is where Nami blushes and says, "No, I'm not. I'm worried because if he dies, then what are we gonna do?" This is where the old man still gives him the internal not internal log post, but log post. This is where they just point into what's called the direction of an island. But yeah. This is where Luffy, he gets up and says, "Thanks, old man." And of course, he just gets to the, well, ship and all that. And of course, is where, well, Mrs. Nine and Mr. Well, not Mrs. Nine, Mrs. Wednesday and Mr. Nine still ask for a ride. So of course, Luffy's suspicious, but you know what? He doesn't care. So yeah, he can easily kick the hell out of anyone. But yeah. But this is actually where I'm gonna leave it off. Well, I'm gonna leave it off towards where they get to Whiskey Peak. But yeah, they just get to Whiskey Peak, and of course, everyone eats, but Luffy doesn't eat. But he just kind of looks like he's drinking. He's just drinking through a straw and all that. Not really just drinking. He's just fake drinking. But yeah, and of course, everyone's just drinking, eating, yeah. But this, well, when Zoro is actually gonna go fight against half the people and all that. But yeah, this is where I'm actually going to leave it off. I want to just leave it off of Whiskey Peak. But yeah, have a nice potato day, potato night, potato seed, potato, and potato. I'm actually going to be doing a new what if. And that what if, well, it's a what if Asta. Well, I would say the name of what if Asta was or became. Well, you will have to find out for the next videos I might record after this one. But yeah. Have a nice potato day, potato night, potato seed, potato. Yep. I don't know, I like doing this series. So yeah, bye.